you.
You two can take it away.
All righty, then you're gonna mute the rest of the folks, or just mute everybody, and I can unmute, and so can Bill. All right, I'm unmuted. Bill, you're gonna need to unmute, and I guess you can. Hi, Bill. Bill, can you hear me? Uh-oh. Bill, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, good. I just wanted to be sure. I wanted to be sure you could hear me.
Yeah, I'm good here.
Where do you want to start?
Well, I just put together kind of a rough draft on, what we needed out of the gate. I think, if people need a place to live, if they're willing to move, it's like right now, if it started, I don't really need anything personally. So it's hard for me to come up with like what everyone else needs. So, let's say funding hit today, we'd have to, first of all, open a bank account, have us all sign up for it so we're all in on it. And then I'm just looking at my notes here. Where'd they go? So what I wrote down is we need to set up a virtual office because I don't think we're ready to have a stationary, address with a secretary and, little cubicles. I don't think we're there yet. So, people need laptops or whatever you need for your home office. And then if people need transportation or a place to live, like I know we have Willow needs a place. We got to get her a place while we transition. Like Jim will be taking off and doing his thing somewhere, and Willow might want to go down and do that. But they're going to need a place to live around that area where they're building it out. They might need transportation to get over there. They're going to need some sort of a salary to live on. And then they might have to set up, an office or whatever in their little area. And depending on what we get around here, in my area, let's say I find a farm, if it's close to me, I can just, let my managers run my place for now. And then I could go off and do that. But this scenario is going to go to everyone in the group. So that's why I put this out there. What's everyone need? And nobody really filled in any blanks. So I can't really go off of that.
Well, that's okay because I think that's what we can bring up tonight is that we can ask people to put their thinking caps on and we'll just read out what we've got in this outline and say, okay, what are some of your ideas to fill in those blanks?
Well, that's kind of it. And, we have to assume this is going to happen tomorrow so we can have all this ready. So once, we get this stuff out of the way, we can move on to the next thing that we're going to do. So if everyone can start filling in what they need, if they're willing to relocate, if they need a salary, if they don't need a salary, then once we get that established, we got to find where the project's going to be. We're going to need to get permits for that, for wherever it's going to be. Maybe we don't need to get permits. We'd probably need some right out of the gate, but who knows? Then we need to design it. We need to build it out, and we need to hire people to do that.
Right.
They don't necessarily have to be in THI if we don't have an architect or somebody to do drawings. We're going to need to hire somebody to do that. And then as we get going, we're going to need to shop around for, let's say like we got that place in a Half Moon Bay. We'd have to retrofit it, see how much that would cost to build out a farm there compared to if we just bought some land someplace else, how much a brand new farm would be there. It might even be cheaper to get another one. But that's something we need to look into. And again, I don't want to go out spinning everyone's wheels, negotiating, and not have anything happen for 2 years. So
Right.
I've got that. And then as we get established, then we can, find out how many people, let's say Jim's got at his place, how many people we have up here, how many, like if we get that land in Sonoma County, what's going to be going on up there? Is it going to be a farm? Is it going to be housing? Is it going to be both? Are people going to live up there? If they're going to grow food, how are they going to get it out of there? Where are they going to bring it to? Who's going to get it? Are they going to be selling part of it? Or are they, I'm thinking it's probably going to have to be 50-50, sell half of it just for, so it's got income. And then the rest can go to whatever they decide that area needs, whatever would help the most people around there. So we need delivery trucks, we need drivers, we need gas money, we need places for them to live. We'd have a whole operation going. But that could build out as we go, because you don't want to build that out and not need it. So, it's kind of like one step at a time as things unfold. It's kind of like when I build out my restaurant. I put this in, I'm like, well, you know what? Now that this is going up and I'm in this area, a salad bar would probably go well. Where I was going to do an ice cream place or have gelato before that on my original design. It was going to be homemade gelato. And I'm like, well, screw that. There's an ice cream place down the street. I don't want to have to compete with that guy. And there is no salad bar around. So we put in a salad bar. So it'd kind of be like that. As we go, we just adjust and see what it needs, see what the area is, because every area is going to be different. And we might not even need trucks. We might just need to have a place and have people come out there and pick it up. Like where we get our produce from, they all go to this port and pick it up every day. So it's one central location. All the delivery trucks that bring it to me or Chipotle or McDonald's or whoever all go to this one place to get it, and they drive it out from there. So it might be cheaper for us to do it that way instead of us delivering it all over. But if we're giving it away for free, we're probably going to have to go drop it off. But then again, my friend has that's what she does right now. She gets extra produce from farms and they drop it off at homeless shelters. So there are companies that do that now. So it's, we need to get the funding, then we need to be ready to go as soon as they say go. We can go down, open up a bank account, everyone signs all the papers, so it's not under one person's name. Then we got to find the land, then we got to find out how we're going to live at that place while it's being built out, who's going to build it out, who's going to design it. All these things have to happen.
And what Jim said about getting a 3D printer for these kinds of things is, I think real important.
Yep. Yep. And that might not even come right away, or it may come right away. It may be, we go to get a 3D printer and it's a year out. And then it may not be. It may be ready available.
And we need to find out what the electrical needs are for something like that too. We would have to be ready to build up, unless we found an existing property that already had what we needed, that would be fine. But if we don't, we have to build it out. Then whoever our architect is has got to figure out what our needs are going to be for supplies, services, etc.
Yep. And then if they'll permit it, and then do they permit, hemp there, or is it only produce? Do they do trees, or like apricot trees, or is it only lettuce? That type of stuff. So, but that can dictate what we grow.
Yeah. How is the land coded, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
What kind of codes do they have for it?
Yeah.
Well, that's would be the part where we would need a person who was in charge of permits.
Well, that could also be a realtor that knows like, that sells that type of stuff.
Right.
They'll know all that. Like if I call up a guy who just sells farmland, he's going to go, oh, you want to do this? Well, you can't get that place. You got to get this place. So, I mean, that's kind of easy.
It would be good to have somebody who's in charge of interfacing with a realtor, with the city or county or whatever is needed for those kinds of things, to get the land and make sure we've got the right kind of land and all that kind of stuff for what we want to do. But we also would have to figure out what would be the use of that land. What do we want to do with it?
Yeah.
What is it close to?
Yeah.
What are our resources in the area?
Yeah. And like on Jim's thing, he's got when I went and looked at those tiny homes, the people that had the biggest fit were the neighbors. Well, it turns out after these guys moved in, the neighbors were more of a problem than the people living there. But they're going to have to, overcome that hurdle. I'm sorry, my dog is just digging up the carpet.
Oh. Okay. So, Bill, what would you think about my reading out what we have here? One of the things you drafted out and put out, I guess on MeWe was, did you put that on Facebook too?
Yes.
Okay. Well, one of the things, and then I typed up from your notes here, farm co-op. I was glad to see that because Thomas doesn't want any businesses through the People's Club unless they're co-op. And I have to say, I'm not 100% sure how co-op works unless it's a shared business where all the employees have a piece of the action. In other words, employee-owned kind of thing. Is that a co-op?
Yep.
Basically? Or are there other kinds of co-ops?
Well, that's pretty much the thing.
You can also sell memberships to people too. So if we started a storefront as well, off the property, you can also sell any surplus vegetables to members for a reduced price. So you also make money in a membership. Because I'm part of a co-op here, I pay $25 a year, and I can go whenever I want and pay reduced prices for my food.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay muted because my dogs are freaking out right now. They just ate and they're losing their minds. But I can hear you guys.
You guys are all supposed to be muted right now until we open for Q&A. So anyway, Bill, I was thinking, what would you say to my reading out what you have here on the outline when we're ready for Q&A and
that's
fine. Get people with some ideas on where we need to fill in blanks and what kind of things we should expect from putting together this project.
Yeah, and if anyone needs something, if you need a car, if you need a salary, let us know so we can put this on there and be ready.
All right. It could be there's some people aren't going to be interested in a farm co-op, and that's perfectly okay, but you could still probably help in some other way than just going out in the fields and planting corn or hemp or whatever it happens to be. You may be able to help with something in the office, or maybe you've got some management skills. Maybe you know how to work with realtors or work with city about permits and such. So there are, or maybe simply would like to get on the delivery end of things or arranging deliveries through trucking companies, whatever it happens to be that comes to mind. This is all we need. So what do you think, Bill? Are we ready to do Q&A?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to start with what you brought up here. Let's see. First of all, we name the business, and it's going to be the People's Club of California, basically, and it could be a subheading of Farm Co-op, but everything's going to need to call the People's Club something of California, probably. But first is the funding. And you said virtual office because at this stage, if we're going to get it launched, we need to start with, if we don't have an office we can put together right away that's in place, then we work out of the home, you said.
Well, that seems to be the move right now, kind of like what we're doing right here.
Okay. So we're ready for Q&A. Let's talk about what people think about. We need things like laptops, computers, and Bill suggested, for instance, for 50 people. We need transportation, whether it's car or air travel. Now, I'm not sure what you meant by air travel there, Bill.
Well, if somebody needs to fly up here or if we need to fly down there.
Okay, I mean just to get there and then get set up.
I'm driving.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's California. We're driving, man.
Okay.
Okay. So what are the other kinds of things we would need for that virtual office? People have to unmute.
Okay. Yeah, this is something I just recently got a new laptop, my new Surface Pro. I'm kind of gearing up like myself, but like, yeah, like all I have is like a Honda Civic. I mean, it's kind of, you know, I kind of talked to you guys before. This is kind of a way to open up and see, you know, obviously there's certain people that are even on task with this, that are aware of this, right? Some of us are not in unfortunately, some of us aren't in very good positions. Like me, Willow, you know, I'm literally living with my parents right now. Doing my part, you know, everything, but it's been hard, and like used to have my own house, grow, you know, all that kind of stuff. I run projects. I'm doing Ontario Christian High School gymnasium right now. I'm running, you know, big job. Done all kinds of stuff. Anyways, with that being said, I kind of have my thing with tax. I'm a third-party contractor. If I'm gonna let everyone know, I'm gonna come straight out the gate. I'm, you know, wanted by the IRS. You know, I had my bank account levied. I only owe, they're saying I owe 50 grand. If I actually hire a lawyer and everything, I could probably settle for about 10 grand. Done the research and all that. Is there a self-stimulus package for certain people, if you get what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to put myself above anyone, but
yes,
people that are aware of this, could use a little bit of, you know, just, you know, just a little stimulus package, say 100 grand, you know, to get yourself like a little RV even, or a nice little truck. And then, you know, get the little one of those travel vans, you know what I'm saying, to where we can run the state and, you know, be above water with the IRS. If the IRS, this is why, earlier I was really worried about this, is because if we are going to link up, right, and we are going to build this stuff, and permits, building, all this stuff I can really wrap my head around, got a big, good plan on that. But this is, when it comes to the accounting stuff, okay, also when you get money, I'm like, okay, well, I've been fighting the whole fucking money thing for a bit and wanted to go through. So there's kind of a clash there. It's not that I need much, but is there a way, maybe I'm thinking of drawing up a little self-stimulus package for certain individuals that are in that kind of scenario, so they can then reset and then join, get up to par. If that's where we need to be, and is where I think we need to be as far as being on a standard level, running a co-op. I have run a co-op. It was it was called Highest Expectations. It was a pharmacy, a marijuana. It was a medicine, and we were very successful. So I totally agree with the co-op. Everything going, separate ways. Everyone, agreeing if there's going to be you can include people, you can bring people in, and you can have meeting minutes and exclude people with that whole deal. So I think that's a great model. As far as if anyone's not familiar with it or been part of it, it's that's kind of how it's run. You run a business meeting minutes. You have a president. You have owners, and then you have a structure within the company. So, and then the owners can have meeting minutes and then vote people in or out. I know it's because this is what happened. Okay, through me having this business and us eventually shutting down and building it from square one. Okay, so registering with the IRS, getting a lawyer, everything. So with that being said, if that's where we got to run it and get in the bank, and we don't want the IRS coming after our names, then we got to get square with the IRS. Like I said, I don't have that much, you know what I mean? I know I could square it away, but it's going to take a little bit. But yeah, as far as then, getting everyone seems like they got a phone or a laptop, but getting a small little something so we can all meet up and kind of collaborate when we do decide on a place. Sounds like Bill and you got what's his name, Don. You guys got something cool, a few things going on really cool up there in north. We'd love to see Montesino. And then down here, honestly, down in Temecula, like me and Jim were talking, like there's stuff going on down here. It's going to be maybe a little harder down here as far as personnel, a few different things I see. I was really with like starting kind of northern, northern something if farming co-op is it. And I think that's where a great place to start from my end, being that everyone's got to kind of return the land. And I really see that being a great place to go at it. And I went to a farmer's market today in Ontario. They have a permanent farmer's market there in Ontario. And then this other farmer's market goes up and down. I was over at my buddy's house in Malibu. They have a farmer's market. They go a permanent one up in Malibu, and the one that basically goes running all the way down to San Diego through the week. You get in with these guys. I mean, there's ways to get rid of things and start with the farming and doing it, where you really don't even have to worry about the IRS, and we can do it, on our side. These guys are I have a friend that's starting a plant business. It's crazy. He moved him in his house, helped him, do all of his electrical, all that stuff, moved in his house about, 6 months ago. And he's growing these big, like, elephant-eared leaves, and he's got all these, like, high-end, yogi moms and, everything from LA, Ventura coming to, his name's Jumanji John. But just seeing the business is what I'm saying, like, seeing the prospecting. They have this, on Facebook and then these other groups. It's called Plant Purge. They have like certain groups, okay, on websites and social media where you set your own freaking auctions. It was something phenomenal, and it was beautiful. And so this is where I'm having my clash with, because I don't like the IRS. I've always had a problem with authority, like big time, man. But I love my people and everyone that's on the same page, and so that's where I need to know if that's a option. Someone that is maybe in contact with Thomas, kind of relay that and see if that's an option for some of us to get going, if we're all to get on the same account, because that's where I'm at. But I have ways around it. You know what I mean? So just something to add there, and some of my research I've been putting on as far as the farming goes. And to say hi to hi, Kim. How you doing?
I can add to that. As far as the IRS goes, I had a guy, it cost me $4,500. I owed the IRS from my divorce and I sold my last business. Long story short, the ex took everything. I owed all the taxes. I owed $62,000. It took me I did what you did. I just avoided everything. I hate the IRS too. Anyways, found this guy, paid him $4,500. he got me down to $25 a month to pay them off. So that's like not a problem. Getting
Right.
cars and housing, I've been told repeatedly that that's part of the package and should be. So getting a car and a place for you should be in the opening package. And then, as far as if we're all on the same bank account, the IRS can't put a freeze on our account because of you. So, because I have a business account and my mom and dad are also on that account. So the IRS couldn't come after that account to freeze it, but they could come if I only had a personal account, because they can't freeze something that other people are in.
Is that what they call an LLC or something like that, Bill?
Yeah, that's why I did it.
Okay.
So,
Cool.
yeah, there's ways around that. And yes, if people need transportation, need to live there, need a salary, that's part of the package. Tank keeps talking about it. Tank's talking about buying himself like a $2 million home. So I think if we can grab some cars to actually go help on projects, that's not going to be a problem at all.
Okay, right.
Why is
I
Tank?
heard that, and I know that there's some other stuff to get on that side of things, and I've been really busy. So thank you for relaying that, because I was really trying. I was even getting that. I was like, some of us being on this whole mission path that we are really going to be hurting. So that's cool.
Well, the last thing we want is to have us working on projects and then having this other thing we got to worry about. That should all go away. We should be all steam ahead on this, working on making everyone better. If we've got all these skeletons in the closet we have to worry about, then it doesn't work. So,
right.
Yes. So
cool.
That's why, and don't
like,
feel weird. Just throw it on there, just so we know.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'm like, give me an RV. I don't have to have a new one. I'll get one off like a market or eBay or whatever. You know what I mean? And then, I'll get the tractors. We'll start setting up shop. You point me where I got to go, and I'm going to go build this thing. You know what I mean? I'm ready. So.
And that's what the
got engineers too that are coming. So, I don't know. Sorry.
Well, the other thing, I think it's also how flexible do you want your commitment to be? Because some of this we're looking at, we want people who will maybe move into the area and actually fill the roles, and that's their career, that's their life. Their life is now committed to what we're doing there with this co-op. But if you're thinking maybe you want to you work for a while here, but you're not sure that's where you want to stay, but you've got the RV, so you can move to the People's Club group. You could actually use your expertise in more than one place.
Exactly.
But
California's a big state.
We're talking about hopefully you would stick in California, because it's California, the People's Club of California, that's going to be paying for that kind of thing. So there should be some kind of commitment, at least to this state.
Yeah, absolutely.
You see where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
Right. And you can kind of see even the collaboration between the states. Like I was with David, we have the whole West Coast thing, and, that all works for sure. California, we can definitely, take care of ourselves with our own state. Let's face it. So, that's cool. That works. But then developing from there, it's got to be like a uniform. That's the other thing that kind of got was where, maybe this first spot kind of keep a little more secluded. That's kind of why maybe we got just the people we got, kind of getting together for a reason. And, gathering just a kind of few like headquarters and home bases, and get it all self-sufficient. And then, showing that way of life, it all works together, showing that way of life and helping people. And then, that's kind of where, we move from there. And then getting, like I said, getting to the education, getting to the agriculture, and then, so on and so forth. So that works.
Okay. Well, I was thinking about some other things we need for our virtual office. Things like phones. Are we going to have landline phone or are we going to have cell phone? Because if we get something like a copier, printer, fax system, I'm just doing the nuts and bolts right now. Just talking nuts and bolts, just the basics. But if we're going to do those kinds of things, we just have to figure out what we think we're going to need to run an operation, basically. Just like any other office you've ever worked in, what do you need?
You need a fax. That's a good idea. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
You need a fax, a phone, a printer.
You need cell phones for the people working.
Yep. Yeah, so we got to just, fax machines aren't that much. It's just
No.
you got to get internet. You got to get, which everyone kind of has, internet, fax machine. Those are cheap now, a couple $100. Like
most faxes come right in the printers right now. I have one and it has a faxer and a scanner in it, so you can scan it, create a PDF, and ship it off.
And here's another thing. You're going to need somebody who understands computers, who can handle your network. You need that kind of a staff person.
Yeah, we need to set aside a account for consultants, because we might need to consult someone, you know, when we're building our office. Maybe we need someone to come in and hook this stuff up, an IT person maybe, or we need someone to go out into the actual garden or the farm and consult on stuff. You know, there's all kinds of stuff. So maybe just a general category for consultant fees.
Mm-hmm.
And we also need liability insurance for the home office. When I had my business, I had to cover all the vehicles that were in the company, and I had to cover if I stepped foot on the site.
Okay.
And anybody who stepped on my site. So you have to probably do that too.
Anything else that people can think of? Maybe we can move on to the next one, which is just deciding what kind of a structure we're going to have. Brick and mortar, or we build it fresh, or go into a shopping center, maybe take over business. I think, Bill, you have on the list here, if we went into a shopping center and took that over, we could collect rent from other business owners in that center and have our office there.
Yeah, so if we bought like a little strip mall, and there's 5 or 6 places in there now, our rent would be free. It would cost a lot, but our rent would be free, and we'd be collecting rent from the other people. And then what I was thinking is, they move in and out, we could put our other projects, if people had them, in that same mall, or we could offer rent discounts to those people, tell them what we're all about, what we're trying to do. You know, if they co-opt their business, a lot of business owners won't want to do it, but we could go, we'll take, $1,500 off your rent if you give that $1,500 to your employees. Something like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that would be a great incentive. Definitely.
Yeah,
I like that.
At least perk their ears up to what's going on.
Yeah.
Do you think we could find somebody in the group that knows how to do property management? Because now we have to take care of all the stuff that maybe their toilets and their electricity, like HVAC, stuff like that. Do you think we should have someone within that could do that?
Yeah, I've got that covered.
Okay, perfect.
We would need either we probably at this point we could hire out for accounting. Somebody has to take care of payroll, somebody has to take care of paying property taxes or whatever it is we need for that, and handle everything from petty cash to paying the bills. So accounts receivable, accounts payable, those kinds of things. Yeah,
and cash flow and profit and loss statements.
Jim, are you saying you do that, or were you asking a question?
No, I don't do that. I just wanted to jump in here at this point and backtrack a little bit. Reason being, how many of us have on this call have listened to Tommy's participation in the Canada Zoom call? Raise your hand. Did you listen, Bill?
No.
Okay. I'm highly recommending that everyone does that, because everything I've heard here tonight has already been answered by Thomas. And he's also put together a design on how we should be going about setting up what Phyllis mentioned, which is going to be called, eventually this THI California call is going to go away. THI is going to go away. And we're going to be transitioning into what's called the TPC California, TPC Canada, TPC other countries. Yeah. And those are going to be not only the bank, but also it's going to be our cooperative business plan. Thomas has put together a second part to that People's Club video that he did, and it's coming out pretty quick. And he's going to get more into explaining to everyone how these cooperative business plans work based on, if anyone saw the Circle of White Light call, Liam from Scotland is already doing this. And Thomas went further, mentioning how what we want to be looking for and looking at doing is getting into businesses, such as like Bill was talking about. Well, let's back up again. With all that's going on right now, and I'm sure everybody's aware of what they're doing to the markets, and they're the powers that were. In my opinion, it's pretty obvious. They're trying to crash this thing. They're trying to crash the economy, crash the financial system, and they're doing a real good job of it. Although, from what I'm hearing from Thomas Kim's, they're preventing a lot of this stuff from escalating. Although it continues, and a lot of people are getting hurt. I think I heard Bill mention it a couple calls back. And that's exactly what's going to happen. Unfortunately, a lot of people are going to get hurt by this financially, that are involved in mortgages and commercial business, properties such as we're looking for. So all these things in the near future are going to be up for grabs, in my opinion. I went through the 2008 collapse and I lost 3 properties, and fortunately I had the ability to recover from those losses, because I just was able to, I had the information that was available to me and the knowledge to fight what they were doing. Or in other words, they stole our equity. The so-called 2008 financial collapse wasn't a financial collapse at all. It was a bank theft. The bank stole the people's equities by way of crashing the housing market, and then they turned around and took those proceeds and bailed out the banks worldwide. That's what that was all about. And the same thing is happening again right now. They're not bailing out the banks, so to speak. They're bailing out industry and corporations. They're buying up the stock market, But as Thomas has said, they're out of funds. So they really can't be buying up anything. It's all digital, illusional money, so to speak. So
almost a way for them to pull out their last resources, possibly.
Yeah, exactly. And they're doing everything they can to stop it. Like today, they shut the stock market down at like 1:00, saying because the people that were in the rooms working the market, which really doesn't exist anymore, it's all done electronically by algorithms. They're saying they had to shut it down because these people could possibly get affected by the coronavirus. Another scam, But what I'm getting at is, so businesses, and Thomas mentioned this also, businesses, properties, all these things are going to go on sale. There's going to be a fire sale, when a lot of people, realize that, most people don't own the properties. They don't own their homes. They just, they have mortgages on everything. It's all debt. And as this debt's called in, things are going to start, just like in 2008, there's going to be fire sales on properties. And so I'm not saying we have to wait. We can continue and focus on what we want. But we should at least get the basics. And Thomas talked about this also. We should at least focus on getting the basics set up right now, which is banking. And we need to vote on a treasurer for the group. And all the other things that I've heard here tonight about, wanting salaries and there's nothing wrong with that. We should also continue with that. Everybody should write up what they want for the next call. And then we can insert that into the proposal. I myself, I'm not going to ask for a salary. I'm not going to ask for a vehicle. When the time comes and the property becomes available, I want to be able to move to that property and provide hands-on work in whatever area that's needed. I have a construction background. I know how to run restaurants like Bill does, things like that. I want to be able to go directly to the property, and which will be, in my opinion, the first property, a prototype that we can build and then spread out from there. But at the same time, there's no reason why we can't also be looking for businesses. Thomas mentioned this. If you remember hearing it, Phyllis talked about purchasing businesses that are going out of business, and exactly. It's happening everywhere, So, and we can set them up in either or both profit and non-profit situations. So we could start could purchase a business under an LLC, which is profit oriented, and we can also get businesses such as farming, produce, distribution, and things like that under a nonprofit entity, and combine everything under the TPC California umbrella. So, in my opinion, those are the things we need to focus on. Go right ahead and 1 second, Kimberly. Go right ahead and write up what you would like to see take place as far as if you need a salary, if you need a vehicle. Like I said, I don't need those things right now. I'm perfectly fine with what I'm doing. I don't participate in the system, so I'll be able to just freely move to wherever we find a property and get right to work. And, you know, if for some reason down the line, like Thomas always said, they're going to take care of THI people first. Somebody wants to throw me some funding in some form down the road, great. I don't expect it. If it happens, great. Icing on the cake. But, yeah, with that said, most importantly, we need to set up a banking situation, and we need to vote on a treasurer, in my opinion. Go ahead, Kimberly.
Thanks. What I took from Thomas's phone call for Canada was that he really emphasized that we're going to take the People's Club and brand it. We're going to make a brand. So it'll be the People's Club wherever you're at. And then instead of inhabiting their world, we create a parallel running system that begins local with us and spreads out wherever we go. And we network with each other.
Yes.
And we buy the businesses for pennies on the dollar, and we convert those to cooperatives.
Yes.
So that their system will eventually go away. And we start local, and then we move into positions of mayor, councils. We move into representatives. We move up to positions of power. And then we just basically, their system completely goes away. And we run our own system at the same time. And as that expands and expands and expands, then that's good for us, right? And then we don't have to worry about what they're doing.
It's a matter of entraining. We entrain our business and our political and our whatever our philosophy is, which is to help humankind, the 45-55, and that's how we grow and develop.
Yeah, because if we show the employees who maybe have never worked in a co-op before that you do own part of this, they're going to work harder and they're going to work beautifully for it. Like you said, Liam spends 2 hours to 5 hours at each of the couple businesses that he has a week, and then the rest of the time he's off.
Yeah,
because the people are so happy to be doing what they're doing.
And nobody works more than four days a week.
4 days a week, yeah.
And this is where I see it too. It's almost like like you go to counties, like people want to kind of, there needs to be a structure, right? I've kind of even mapped out where it's counties. Like people really want to okay, forget the state things even, but like counties, if you want to reduce it down to size where people are actually local, you see the people, that your mayors, your councils, and you're actually interactive with them. I've reduced it downtown. It could be cities, towns, whatever. I think it's a little small. Especially for the ability we have to travel. So, but if it gets into counties and, you kind of follow the structure line from there, like Kim said, it's within the farmer's market. If everyone understands farmers markets go to the local VVCs, and there's a little coordination, fee you got to pay the spot, but they set up, they move, they make it happen. You could also open up I used to get with I don't know if you guys remember Judge Netanyahu with Drake and Thomas. The guy he spoke.
I know who you mean. Yeah.
100 million. He was very, very tastelessly enunciated. But I learned a few things, and I really want to get back with that guy. It's just another thing. I got another law guy that's got me. I got my Black's book, 4th edition now. I'm getting into some of this Elodia title. Jim sent me off on that. And I got a friend that, go figure, we just met up right after that, and this guy is dude, this guy's a master, dude. And so I got a few things going on that way too. Get back to baseball, but if you produce money, right? If we can get with the farmers markets and we can get the education going, and you produce money and show whatever mayor, right? You're freaking making money. The town's gonna like it. I don't care who you are. The city's going to like it. They're not going to say no if you can produce their fees, if it can produce whatever it is that you got to schmooze them with, right? And obviously, if what I'm getting money ain't really a thing, if we're doing what we're doing, and this is a way you can buy. So money was the root of all evil. What if money can be the root of creation? I want everyone to think about that hard, and put your business caps on, and then move that way. Like what you guys are saying, get old, businesses that hopefully this virus thing and all this epidemic thing doesn't have to go too long to where things do have to go out that much. well, we can really step forward and really just start using the money in the opposite polar dynamic. As it is, money is the transformation of our energy that we put in. Why not use it? Move forward. Let's take this motherfucker 2 steps forward. You know what I mean? And that's how I think, you know. So I just,
right. As things are collapsing all around us, we need to be able to step in with pure intention and, change the old ways. Again, what were some of the things Thomas mentioned? We need to start some radical thinking. I mentioned them last week. I can't find them at the moment. But yeah, we need to step in there and start changing everything. And things are collapsing quick. Yeah. I don't know if anybody's seen what's going on in the last 2 weeks, but it didn't take long for this thing. I mean, they got the whole country shut down.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
People can't, they got curfews going on in some places. I don't know about what's going on in Northern California, but even here in San Diego, I just found out yesterday, all the restaurants are shut down. I was going to ask you, Bill, how you're doing with that. They can only serve to go. What's that?
We're way down. My whole mall shut down. Like, shut down. 30 employees to the left of me are out of work. The people to the right of me are out of work. The people 2 doors down are out of work. The whole mall is out of work.
So how long do you think that they can sustain being out of business? A lot of restaurants, before this even happened, there were a lot of restaurants and people that own homes that were already underwater and struggling to stay open, you know? So as they go down, or they're shut down now, what happens when they can't reopen? That's when we need to be able to step in and, unfortunately, buy these things up on pennies on the dollar, and do good things with them, turn it around and do good things, just my opinion.
Well, co-op business only. That's what's going to be the
Has to be. Anything
it has to be or it doesn't get funded.
Correct.
That is the business model. It's going to be the People's Club brand of business. That's it. So.
Yeah, restaurants carry 30 days of cash flow. So the guy next to me has a breakfast place. He's got 3 stores. He called me Sunday he called me. He wants to start a revolution against the landlord. Our landlord is the 3rd largest landlord in the world. They're called Kimco.
No.
And you call these guys up, and the first thing out of their mouth is, how can I not help you? And F you. That's how they open the conversation. So these guys are going to be screwed. Either let's say they put everyone who can't make rent in our complex out of business. The nail shop will go. 3 restaurants will go. A sushi place just opened up. Maybe they'll make it. I don't know. The sandwich shop just opened up. They're going to go. The bagel shop will go. I'll be hanging on by my chinny hair on the chinny chin. But that's just us. There's a mall across the street, and then there's another mall, and another mall, and another mall, and another mall. They're all over. Everyone is shut down right now. So, yes, there will be huge opportunities out there, and you'll be able to steal all this stuff, especially if the big boys don't have any money left.
Yeah, that Kimco guy thinks he can tell you guys to go take a hike. He's not worried about you. He thinks he's going to easily replace you. Is that the idea?
Well, he can't, because
That's
who's going to go in? Everyone else is dropping out.
Exactly. So he better be a little more polite as time goes on, don't you think?
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Try to work with you.
They've never had this kind of situation before. They've never had a situation where all their people, all their renters are bailing.
Yeah.
right here. So they're going to actually have to rethink the way they do it too, or they'll fail. They will fail.
Oh yeah, absolutely they will. So they're going to have to do something. I saw a guy on the news tonight because see, insurance doesn't cover. They cover everything but a pandemic. So a flood they cover, everything but a pandemic. So they're trying to get bailout money for that to the insurance companies, because a lot of people have investments in Kimco. Like people invest, like their pensions are in Kimco. So if Kimco goes down, so do, a factory that has all their pensions in there. So I don't know what's going to happen, but there's going to be a huge ripple effect. But a lot of people, there will be businesses going down everywhere. And like my food guy comes in and he goes, this guy's going out of business. This guy's going out of business. These guys are doing great. They pay on time. I just have to ask my food guys who's doing good and who isn't, and he'll rattle them right off. And then you just go in and you co-op their place. You go into the owner and go, hey, we can either take this over. We're not going to give you any money, but we'll give you an opportunity, a salary, but everyone here is going to be making the same amount of money. That's one approach. Another one is just buy it, gut it, and take over the whole complex and co-op the whole complex. And if other people don't want to do it, we can collect rent, build out co-ops for people with the rent money. I mean, there's so many things. There's so many things to do. But yeah, it's getting ugly.
Do you guys think it would benefit us to have a phone call with Liam?
Yeah.
I think so.
That was mentioned on that Canada call. I think you heard that too. A lot of people are actually contacting Liam, trying to get him on their calls, because he's already doing this. I think Thomas is going to try to get him to put some type of a presentation together, whether it's video or.
We could get a hold of Alan James. He's a friend. We could get a hold of him, and he can hook up with Liam, because he asked, does anybody want to talk to us? We would be more than happy to come on one of your Zoom calls and talk.
I think Thomas too is like I said, he's going to be putting together.
He's going to New York, isn't he?
Yes, tonight or tomorrow, I think. But I think it's Glenn Connon's group, and but in the meantime, he is putting together a part 2 for that People's Club information. And I think he'll be explaining a lot of this stuff on that call. So we should just continue to focus on just what was talked about here tonight. And especially if anyone has any experience with banking, unless we want to wait and hear what Thomas has to say about the TPC banking that he mentioned in Canada. Also, he goes, "You will become your own bank." So eventually. I don't know if we have to. Yeah. So I don't know if we have to do something in the meantime. I can't answer that.
Remember, he said a lot of the stuff we could just keep on hold, knowing that we're going to be a brand. We're going to go for that brand name, right? So that pretty soon everybody who said knows the People's Club.
Right. He did say that.
Whether it's California. So we just need to stay, like you said, focused on getting the basics, just the basics.
Right.
Like Bill has all that written out, and the very basics.
And definitely, if someone, we need to vote on a treasurer. If anyone has experience, my first thought was Miriam.
Miriam would be good.
Because, she's got all that, not bookkeeping, but accounting. And do we have any accountants in the group? We need a treasurer.
My uncle, if I can get him on a few of these calls, because I've kind of okay, he's an old banker. He's a bookkeeper right now. He's to the T. Oh my God, this man is to. You guys get to know him. Oh my goodness, he's my godfather actually. This is crazy. Yeah, I may know someone. I may know him.
Well, he has to join. We have to get him to join the main THI.
Right.
First.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we could put him in this one.
Let's get back to that. And we're at the top of the hour. We've gotten the first hour down, what we need to do. So for the second hour, if we could discuss teaming up on different projects that we're going to implement when we get the properties and the businesses and what people are wanting to provide. And I'm going to start with Willow. Willow's been working all week, and I'm sure she has a lot of good things to tell us.
It's Sean. I'm still alive.
Okay, Sean, we're going to get you on here too.
Thank you, Sean.
Whenever you're ready.
Love you all.
Okay, well, I've been busy all week. I just want to remind, I just have always in my thoughts that as a being created, as a being has been created by the Creator, we are not meant to pay for food, shelter, medical. So Jacob, you should be taken care of, period. Second of all is I didn't know, I mean, I don't know why I got this in my mind, but I thought that, Tommy kept saying that, we've got to help the homeless first. And my thought is, on these calls, we don't have a lot of people that are stepping forward. So, where we can recruit a lot of people are the young. I talked to countless of people, and I still have, I'm in contact with some of them on my travels who would, if they could work on a piece of land and acquire a home, once they get their house or their home and they start growing their own food, their time is free to do anything. And they're struggling right now. They don't want to be at home, or they're struggling with rent. And this is where we could recruit a lot of help. I just thought that we had to service the homeless first, but I guess I misunderstood. In which case I could contact them and say, look, the pitch that I give them is that, what I've been saying, and I'm hoping I'm right, is that if you wanted to gather 20 friends and create an eco village, that you could find the land, the material, you could even work on it and pay each of yourselves, and you just have to submit a proposal. But if they could join THI and then join this group, particularly like that land in Mendocino, and get a home, they will just jump on board because it's an investment for their future. So that's one thing. What I have done is, because I have that peace of mind of the land in Mendocino, and I'm thinking to myself, well, I've lived in a car off and on for the last 2 years, so I know what it's like. And so if we go on the land, like if Jim goes on the land, is he going to stay in a motel? No, he's going to want to be on the land. So what I did is I started to look at sheds, and I spent a good 2 hours, and then I realized I was going down the wrong rabbit hole, that I need to look on tiny houses on wheels. And so these are on trailer wheels. It's like a trailer bed. And then I looked into thinking that this is not a home for the people that's working on the land. So let's say we do purchase the 1,000 acres. So all the people that go there, they're going to need housing. Tent is not a good thing. So I contacted several tiny house home builders, and I told them the project. I said, look, can I can we work with you in building a small bedroom with, and so I put together all the furniture that we may need, a bed, so that, after you work, you can go and retreat to your own personal space. And so I've been working on that all week, and then, I've looked at mattresses, and but let's start first. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through just shortly, the tiny homes. Okay, so the good thing about a tiny home is, one, we don't need to put a foundation on the ground. That it's already on wheels, so it can be actually moved with the truck. And then if the person, let's say, wants to go and work on a different project, maybe down to Chico, they could take that tiny house, that tiny little room, and so then, once they're there, they don't have to search housing for that person. Okay. I did ask for natural wood with hemp insulation to help with the warmth or the cold. I asked for no painting inside the house, and natural oil to protect the wood, and they said that's just fine. So 2 companies are actually looking into joining the People's Club. So I told them about the project, and I said, well, your material and your labor could be paid, and if you join the People's Club, and we could put you on the website, and then you could have access to everyone across America, because they will have the template. And so let's say someone in Washington will say, well, we want the THI model of the bedroom. They've already got they don't have to go through what I did, 4 hours worth of calling and figuring this stuff out. So I'm trying to make a template so that I could then launch it onto the website, and then it just has to be in order. I want this. To minimize the space on the little bedroom, I looked into twin beds and 3 cabinets underneath where they can put the bedding. In summer months, they just may need a sheet. They're going to need like a wool blanket for winter. 1 nightstand, a table and a chair, a bookshelf with 4 shelves with the depth of a book so that they can put books in there. A cooler for foods, and under that a cabinet so that they can have additional food storage. And a little storage in the back of the trailer where they could store a bicycle, because if they're in the city, they don't have a car, they have a place to put their bicycle, especially out of the weather. Hooks to hang on coats, a roof that's not flat so that the water doesn't sit, and then just a small awning in the front door. So they said, oh yeah, we could do that. And I didn't want the furniture to be built in, because that's what the tiny homes do, is they build it in so that they can actually be moved into a house. And then they can use that tiny home for a shed if they wanted to. So I did inquire about that and say, oh yeah, that's no problem as long as you don't travel with that, because the vibrate will. Anyway. Okay, so I worked for an electrical company in my early 20s before my son was born for 6 months, and the guys actually left their equipment outside and it damaged it. So I thought, okay, so we're going to need a trailer for the tools, a trailer for the gardeners, a trailer like a clothing store, and where we could store the bedding and the clothing. I handed out some flyers to the homeless about 4 days ago, and I was talking to them about it, and they don't have clothing, and so anyway, they are very interested. I'm going to go and visit them again soon. I'm just a little busy right now. We're also going to need a trailer to store herbs and first aid and supply, and I also thought about putting a massage table in there, where we could start healing the people that are working. They can come, and anyone who gives a masseuse, they can earn some extra money giving a massage or whatever. And then a trailer for kitchen use. Now these tiny homes are just amazing, with a living room, a dining room, a bathroom, and all of that. So there's no reason why we cannot have one built for as a kitchen, and where the meals could be prepared. There's a stove, there's everything, so that the workers don't have to leave the property to get food. And then we hire people, cooks, and to make the food. And this is what it should be like. The housing should be free, the food should be free, and us caring for each other with this project. I mean, if people came and worked on this eco village and they're cared for, they would just be so appreciative. They don't have to work on the eco village to create money for rent. That money's not going to go out, but they're getting paid. They can pocket their efforts in salary, and their food is provided. A beautiful shelter is provided for them. I mean, this is really caring for our workers. So that's my thought. Let's see. So if a trailer for the kitchen would to be created, people that have interest in the culinary would have to design that trailer. And I know that perfect, it's called Tiny Ida Homes. I liked his video the best because he was very competent, I guess you could say, and he did everything safe. So that's with the tiny homes. I looked into mattresses. They're expensive if we don't go to Walmart that's sprayed with fire retardant chemicals. They run anywhere from with the sheets and everything, and the frame, it runs anywhere from $1,500 to $2,500 for one twin. There was one company that is looking into joining, so maybe he can drop his price from $2,500. Anyway, I talked to him yesterday, and so he's looking into the People's Club. I thought about also maybe purchasing the bedding from two companies and then comparing them in terms of the quality. And I also looked at blankets. I found a company that sells wool blankets. So a nice thick wool blanket that would be stored underneath the mattress in the little home. Now, if I'm spending too much, let me know. So, I don't want to go down an alley and then realize I'm going down the wrong alley. I think that with the hemp insulation, I think that the wool blanket might be enough, and we may not have to purchase down blankets. Down blankets are another $300 or $400 each, good quality ones. But the wool blankets I found from a company for about $200, and it's nice and thick. And then furniture. The tiny homes could actually create the furniture, but I think that we want to pump out the tiny homes quickly, because let's say the land is purchased and Jim and I jump in our cars and we go down there. We don't want to wait another 6 weeks for the trailers, so I figure I'll give the tiny homes the trailers, and then I'll hire furniture people, furniture makers, and anyway, I came out with 9 pieces of furniture in one room. And, the question is, for the people is, do you want me to buy from Walmart, which will be much more cheaper, or do you want me to support the cabinet makers, which will be a lot more? My thinking is that I've also asked for no toxic varnish or paint on the furniture. Just natural wood with maybe wood oil. Let's see. A friend of mine is a cabinet maker. He's so busy right now. He's got a job due. He's a master. He does everything except for the spraying, the painting. He knows how to do it, but it's more feasible for him to send that out. And so I may have, because he's so busy for the next 5 or 6 weeks, I might have to consult with one of the other furniture people to get the dimensions. Once I get the dimensions, then I could send the dimensions out for a proposal I think I've contacted about 5 furniture makers, and it could be that we may have to use them, all 5 of them, so that we can put those into the rooms once they're done. Let's see. I also contacted actually today a furniture school. They teach furniture making, and so he's interested in that as well. I told him about the People's Club. He's going to look into that. Okay, now the porta potties. Okay, so if we've got a bedroom, we're going to need porta potties. So I found one in Mendocino, and I actually found 2, and there are some, and they actually service weddings, so they're really nice. And I was told today by one that he rents his out for $1,500 a day. And I thought, well, that's not going to be doable. So I think we're going to have them made by the tiny homes. And they can make that because they can make full kitchen, full bathroom, even shower. And so I'm going to have to look into that sometime this week. I also inquired if they have showers, and they said no. So I think we could have that done as well. There is a septic tank. It's called Thompson's Septic Tanks, and what they do is they go to the property and they empty out the waste. So if we have our own made, then the waste could be, we could give them service in that way, and then we don't have to pay them rent for the facility. When I was in Peru, there was one retreat that did everything natural, and it was sawdust compost. So if you urinated, you didn't have to put sawdust on top of it, but if you defecated, you would have to put a scoop of sawdust over it. I don't know what they did with that, but I know it was composting. That could be something that we can look into, but that may be, there are more pressing things that we need to than a compost toilet at this point. But my thought is that people that will work on the property, we want to take good care of them. We want to feed them well, make sure that their wellness of their own personal space is there for them, so they can work hard for us and with us. And so that's what my thought is in taking this role, and then just creating a template. And then if we can lock in some of the furniture and the trailer, tiny homes, people, then it will make it easier for anyone across the United States, and they could ship anywhere. They could drive anywhere. Okay. Let's see. So, can I ask for any comments or suggestions?
Just briefly, you just talked about the need for a furniture mattresses, which are very expensive. So these are the type businesses that we need to start keeping an eye on. Instead of paying somebody for these things, what if we just buy the business? Buy a mattress business that's going out of business, buy a furniture business that's going out of business, and build it up. This is, again, what Thomas was talking about on the Canada call. We're in a position to where we can literally buy these businesses that are going out of business, and someone can run the business and have the mattresses or furniture shipped that are needed for the tiny homes. You also mentioned a number of times, you mentioned trailers. I have to mention, I got a call from a member today that has never been on the call, but she does participate on the page. Her name is Marigita Diaz, if anyone knows her. She's been a member for quite some time. And she just called me out of the blue, and we were just talking. And she mentioned to me that she lives in Long Beach. And I think on the last call I mentioned that they have, somebody put a post up. I think it was Marigita. There are cargo containers because there's no shipping going on right now. Nothing's going in, nothing's going out. They can't afford to pay for it, to bring them into port. And there's nothing going out. There hasn't been anything going out for a long, long time. America doesn't export anything other than arms, military equipment, But just through our conversation, she mentioned to me that she's aware also there are cargo containers along the Pacific Coast Highway for miles, stacked 10 high. When you drive through that port of Los Angeles in Long Beach, both sides of the road, all you see is cargo containers. They're stacked as high as they can stack them. So I mentioned to her, I would like her to get a hold of Willow, and between the tiny homes and these containers, there might be a situation where we might just be able to drive up with trucks and just pick them up because they're just sitting there. There's got to be someone we can talk to, and she's going to look into this. So between the cargo containers, tiny homes, and eventually the 3D printed homes, yeah, that's exactly what Thomas was talking about, the way he would like us to set up these TPC villages is what he calls them.
I did talk to her.
Oh, great.
I actually have a friend in Oklahoma that lives in one of those, and they are so cold.
Well, they could also be insulated.
Exactly.
They could be insulated also, yeah.
Exactly. They would have to be insulated. And they're pretty large. I think that we'd have to have trailers made for them if you're going to move them. My thinking is that in putting together the furniture in there and making it compact, it's just small enough where just a regular truck could move it, and it could be transported anywhere. But yeah, I think that would be a great thing, I think, for because they're so big for like the equipment, the gardening.
Also, you could set up a kitchen in there. You could set up a laundry facility. You could set up your base operations to run the thing. You could put in a lot of things in that much space.
Yep. Yeah. There's the tiny homes. They actually sell trailers and they make them to size. So maybe Maria could do that. Maybe she can work on the big ones and contact. I can contact her and ask her if she'll be willing to work on the large trailers. I don't know if you want me to move forward with the small bedroom trailers. Or do you want me to go after the cargo trailers? Is that what you want?
No, that's not what I'm saying at all. I just wanted to see people work together. If she can, where she's at in Long Beach, she's easily accessible to go over and start talking to these people.
Okay.
And you're obviously doing the same thing. You said you've already contacted these people. I think Kimberly had a comment, and Jacob also.
As far as Willow, hi. Thank you for all the work you're doing, by the way. It's amazing. As far as the tiny trailer houses that you're looking at, do we have to get those licensed with the state of California if they're going to go on the road between place to place?
She said that. She said because, well, one of the tiny homes told me that because it doesn't have a kitchen, a bathroom, and all that, it's not considered a home. It's considered a trailer. And because they're going to be shipping it empty, then it could be considered a shed. They put all the lights around it, and then they could put a window for us. Mm-hmm. And the fact that the furniture will be put in after it arrives, so I think that was a good thing. I think that was a good call of not having them do the furniture. Okay. So I will actually. That's a really good question. I'm going to call a couple of them and ask them, just to make sure.
Because if we start to live in them and say I'm in Chico and I want to go to Mendo, and if I'm pulling that with my truck, if it's on the road, because I have a utility trailer and I had to pay one price, and then I have a permanent license for it.
Okay.
It was super cheap. It was like $27, and I just pull it wherever I go.
Okay. I'll check on that. Mm-hmm. I'll ask them. So what is that called? It's
just a license to, it's a trailer license.
Okay.
Because I know mobile homes have to license with the DMV too, because they have wheels and they can be moved.
Right.
But if you're saying this is just like a utility trailer, we'd have to get really specific, because we wouldn't want people getting pulled over and getting cited.
Right.
Because if it has the ability to be moved and lived in, I don't know, maybe they've never dealt with that before. Maybe we're creating some whole new template. So.
Right. That's another thing that I had on my list here, is that, once the property is purchased, that to look into if there's any regulations or restrictions mm-hmm. on having a bunch of trailers with people sleeping in them.
Right. Right.
And so that's something I'd have to look into. Unfortunately, I can't have these done until the funding and until the property has been purchased.
Right.
So,
well, I think they're pretty lax in that area. My husband's over there right now, and there's people, because there's all the pot growers and stuff over there, and they live in buses right on the property. I don't think there's a massive amount of rules over there.
Okay.
But it would be nice to know what, if we were looking at that property, what the rules would be for something like that.
Let me chime in just real quick. Now we'll get to you, Jacob. We discussed this, Willow, a few calls ago, and whatever property we do comes our way, and we do decide to put in for a proposal for purchase, we will only purchase the property by way of an alloidal title. This way, there is no county or government agency regulations. We outright own the property. There won't be any property taxes, and that's the only way we will purchase it. And with that said, let's go to Jacob. He's researching this at the moment.
Yes, this is part of the thing where, okay, so the alloidal title and with my friends and everything, it goes into each and every single one of you is owed a lot of money from being on the stock market. Okay. This goes pretty deep, and this is something that I have to be careful and choose my words correctly. But with what's coming, I think that there's even an organic way within ourselves to be able to make this happen. And this is even as far as I've gone with this, because it is there, and this is what's kind of been brought to me. As far as me and my journey, okay. This whole THI and getting the loan thing is great. And it's not that I'm not counting on it. I'm actually projecting a lot of different things here going with it. But with that being said, Jim's saying you really educate yourselves. It starts with yourself and self-empowering. And Thomas says it enough. It starts with the self-work and taking on that knowledge quest, okay? Part of the thing that I've come to with, there's junkyards everywhere. There's RVs everywhere. You know what I mean? With RV, watching the big getting back to the farming and getting back to people getting to work and working for their own food and getting, people out. If you want to go homeless, I really like the kid deal. I have a guy out here, Chet, okay? Great guy. He owns great businessman. He owns Topak out here, and he few of the mortuaries, right? Family owned, plumbers, all that kind of great family guys, went to school with my parents. Anyways, what he's done, I'm building a building with him, is his own distillery. What he's done is for his welding shop, because he's setting up a spot for farmers markets and out kind of thing. He does his own brewery. He's doing his own meat and smokehouse. Where he's getting his help from is from the high schools, the kids in welding school. They're putting together and welding a lot of the stuff, helping them build stuff. Willow, I think you had a great point there, honey. The VBC, the community colleges and the high schools, where you got all these kids that are just wandering, right? They want to do something, but they don't want to have to have a boss where they can't just go do what they need to do and, do their thing. We're kind of developing that for them. The people, there's literally a fighting within the consciousness of people and the kids. You can see it in the generation, how it's deteriorating on people going back together and going back to and doing something cool where they can learn, because the system has been built on getting them on a box of video games. And eventually, even the body and the brain gets tired of that, and they start kind of going, well, there's got to be something else going on here, right? And if you can give them all that cool stuff, this is what we're trying to do. This is what I think we need to get generating here and going, is that they're going to flock. Because these kids over here in high school, great kids, that once you get them working, they're building for something, they're making money, close to home, right out of high school, that's where you get them. Because the homeless, this kind of goes into a little farther aspect, right? If we got to corner this fifth dimensional and fourth dimensional, sixth dimensional, whoever knows how many dimensions, but if it's not physical and it's not human, but we're fighting, it's been here a long time, but we got to fight it, where do you think that stuff's going to reside? On the negative end of things, within the homeless, within the people doing all the drugs, sitting, congregating together, and that's where different people got to go in and really, help out. With that being said, we got to grab the young, because Willow did. That was beautiful that you brought that too, because this is something I'm seeing within my own community, and so that's where we're going to get it. That we got to breathe with the young, with what's there, what's given to us. RVs, okay. I'm just going to say the RV. Tommy says it, the RV, and I said there's a few different levels to that, because we're going to have to travel a little bit, being in California, Freeway State, keep mobile, okay. And I think that should be part of some of with some of us going on with that. With that being said, you have a farm, you can convert freaking, if you've seen the biggest little farm, you need to be able to move chickens. You need to be able to move things around from pasture to pasture, because they all have their different purpose. They're all different when it comes to incorporating on the land. I think it goes on different more levels. Okay. Same thing. I've gone down to resources and I'm mapping out stuff. What is a great elevated vegetable garden? Because no one wants to bend over and garden, right? But we want to be able to elevate, and what's insulated are fridges, on their backs. And they got a coil water. Where you live, you can be in Russia, run a heated water tube system like a radiator through a bunch of fridges up and down the line, and you're good to go. You can grow a lemon tree in fucking Russia. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff like mapped out that I've kind of like got on too when it comes to being resourceful, utilizing and resourcing things to their advantage. And it really goes in, when it comes to the individual, a lot of that's taken care of. Is more like, for me, like, I want to get to like the mayors and like some of these bigger people that are maybe involved with more like the higher up end, because how else are we going to get to them? And if we're getting this money and the money's going to go back to the people, and they're having this big old power structure struggle, right? And what's going on with the money, and that's what I foresee is like having is really going to come to us and see how are the people going to do it. We're literally going to be the ones doing it. So you really got to take yourself into a leadership role and think on dynamics as far as money line and getting things started with the right minds and right people that are already in function, that are already there. And money talks, baby. That's all I can say. And so really, we're all rolling, counting on this, and we're all believing this, because that's why we're all here. So, if we all can kind of gear towards that. Like, I know the mayor of my town, county guys can get to, even maybe, people that are higher enough, but like it's getting together these proposals, like you said, the guy with white light, I forget his name, Phyllis said it, but even getting him to see what he's kind of got as far as a structure, what I mean, some visual, like Bill posted, he's we need to play Pictionary a little bit, right, and see where we can fit in on a few levels, and then because you got to think of the money is not an aspect of this is going to be the transition. This is going to be the change, right? Where we can go from rid of all the evil money, and then we can create this as a creator. We really got to take on that position, because that's the role being changed. The last will be first, the first will be last. It says it, right? So, like, if you can, I know this is kind of like getting a little bit on a philosophical, or a little bit, what I mean, your prophetic, kind of aspect, but like, if you really look at it that way, it becomes a lot easier. Just like, what I mean? It really does. And in a way of like, real practical application. Per individual, it's going to happen. But yeah, as far as dynamics within, that's great. And, being mobile and, working on the like I said, the youth, generated from this part.
Can I say something? Yeah. When I traveled all the way to New York, all the way up to Washington, and talking to the young people, their concern is the future. And I'm thinking that if we were to create this eco village where the young could get a free home, but also we could intermix the homeless, and through this through this massive project, they are going to learn. There's so many homeless adults that have so much incredible life experience, and they just need a purpose. The young, they're so eager to learn, and to have a home and see it built and be a participant in it, and then have a land to grow your own food. Wow! I mean, this is, and then putting the homeless with them. I think that's because look at the calls. Look how many we have here. I mean, look how many you have 65, but how many are we don't have a whole lot of time. We need to start moving forward and do what we can. But when I did this last, I'd say last couple of weeks since I took on this job, and talking to the young people and telling them about the People's Club, and I said we're creating an eco village for the homeless. It would have been totally, I think they would have jumped on board if I would have said there's a possibility you can actually get one of those homes that we're building. You need to come, and join us. And we would have, I think that I could have gotten probably about 20 people. I talked to, and I also get asked to leave from these stores, but I talk to any young person that's open to what I have to say, and I think that's where we need to head to, because I think that we're going to need a lot of help. These people, these young people, they just know they're screwed. They just know. I actually had two young people contact me this week that I met on my travels and said, you know what? What can I do for my future? I said, well, you can look at the People's Club. And also a woman that I gave psychic readings to 20 years ago. And she said, you know, you told me some things. And I said, yeah, look at the People's Club. So I sent that flyer, that humanitarian flyer to her. And now she's looking at it. And I think, but the young people are the ones that have their friends. They have 20 friends that they don't want to live with their parents. They know that the education is just bogus, and they would love to have a home, and we would love to have their help, and we could, you know, we could try to work with what we can. Anyway, that's my thoughts.
Well, that's where we're at, Willow, presently, and that's our challenge. We have to build it. We have to build the prototype. And from there, we become the teachers for the next group and the next property. And we have to be the teachers for these people to spread out. And yeah, this is what we're trying to accomplish, is create these TPC villages up and down the West Coast, and most likely extend across the country. Be a new way of living. You know, I think Thomas hit on that also. You know, we got to get away from all this, I forget what he called it, but, you know, this situation that we're presently in where, you know, everybody wants that dream home, you know, that big 3-bedroom, 3-bath, you know. We got to get away from all that type of thinking, you know, because it really doesn't make any sense. And most of those homes that are built like that, they're not really well structured to begin with. You know, most of them are fire hazards, and, you know, the materials they use are toxic. So yeah, we're the ones that are right now the pioneers in this, and so that's our challenge.
Can I say to the young, you know, you come help work on this project, you know, you can have a home. Can I say that to them?
Absolutely.
Okay. I think I can probably recruit 20 people to come work with us. So, yeah, okay. So is it okay, you know, the way I'm going here with the tiny homes, is that okay? Because
absolutely.
Okay, perfect.
We should have all the above. Tiny homes, cargo containers,
okay.
An RV park. You know, this is use your imagination. This is a TPC village.
Okay.
Earth bags are good too.
Earth homes, yes. I think I mentioned one time, if anyone's familiar with Mark Lacasse down in Florida, you should see his vision for a Florida TPC village. It's like on 10,000 acres.
Wow.
I think that's what he said. It was bigger than Disneyland. And
wow.
this guy had, you know, huge convention halls and building structures for THI members to come and vacation down in Florida. It was a pretty, Phyllis, were you on that call? It was quite a presentation that he put.
No, I missed that. But I was going to say, Willa, while you're looking at some of those other things for these tiny homes, I missed the part about, are you saying that these tiny homes will not have a place to use a bathroom, or you're saying you do have a way, it would be a compost toilet or something? I was thinking that if we had an RV park, we find out how did they do the plumbing where they have sewer connections for the RVs? How do they do that? How does it run? Does it run to a big septic? Is that the kind of system you would need for the tiny homes?
Yes.
Those kinds of setups.
The tiny homes have kitchens and bathrooms in it and showers. And so it goes into a tank, and then you have to either drive your tiny home someplace to dump it, or somebody comes and takes it for you. And so these tiny homes for the bedrooms do not have a facility. they're just going to have the furniture, and then at some point, if we don't need them, or they want to be, whoever's got the home, they want it in the back of their home, they can use it. They can move the furniture into the house.
And having then a community bathroom? Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. They have if you go to the porta potties in Mendocino and you look at those wedding porta potties, they are 5-star facilities. They are so incredibly beautiful inside. That's why they cost $1,500 a day for weddings. And so we could have one made like that, and then a shower where we could have 2 showers in another trailer. When I was in the retreats in Peru, 20 of us shared 2 showers and I think it was 2 toilets, actually. 20 of us shared that.
You have to remember something. Excuse me. You have to remember something. When you're building a home, the first thing that you do is you put in the utilities. Okay, the plumbing, electric lines, sewer, sanitation, and sewer operations.
Venting.
And then your foundation. So that was another question I had. Are these tiny homes all going to need a foundation?
No, they're on wheels.
Okay, great.
So that we can move them. We can move them.
Yeah. So let's say one part of the property be designated for tiny homes. Another part of the property will already have the groundwork done, the utilities in for electric, for or solar, whatever we decide to do. This is where, on the last call I mentioned, immediately we're going to have a group of community planners with all different from all different trades, and we're going to need architects. We're going to need carpenters. We're going to need cabinet makers, like you mentioned, Willow. And these people that you're contacting, just because they're homeless, that doesn't mean they don't have skills. So these are the first things that people are going to be asked when they show up. What do you want to contribute? What skills do you have? And this is where the original community planners come into play. The first one's there, and we set it up and designate certain areas, tiny homes, an RV park, larger homes that are made for by 3D printers. Also we can make bathroom facilities and shower facilities by way of 3D printers easily. You could throw up 20 of them in a day by moving that printer around on different parts of the property, let's say. Go ahead, Kim.
I have an article. I'm going to dig it up. It's about a company who's in Holland, I think it is. And they have 5 prototype 3D printed houses right now. And I know this sounds terrible, but they were using hemp. Well, hemp is good, but the part that, because they're trying to be really sustainable, they don't want to use the concrete part. So they switched to plastic, and because it lasts longer, and they could, with the hemp, it was antimicrobial, because with the concrete part of the hempcrete, you have to go out. Concrete actually comes from riverbeds, the sand and the stuff. So you have to destroy a lot of riverbeds, a lot of those quarries to make the second half of that hempcrete. So they actually, it's called Miraco, and they were actually using plastic to do it. And it was actually, the way they did it was a very eco-friendly way, because they were recycling and using the stuff that they recycled at the same time. So I thought that's something we could look into. And did I ever mention that my husband's an actual civil engineer for site development?
There you go. See, so yourself and your husband automatically, will be on the community planning board, when we start up. Even if you don't want to live,
he has his own company.
Even if you don't want to live there right off the bat, you could still come and, walk us through the knowledge that you, and provide us with the knowledge that you have in both areas. Engineering, you said?
Yeah, he's a professionally licensed. Yeah, he's a professional.
And you're growing knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
and
yeah, he's really good at it. He can do up to 3. I think. Well, he's licensed for up to 3 stories, and he can do all the utilities. He can do all the development. He can do all of that stuff. So, down in Southern California, he was doing those huge 5,000 home tracts. He was responsible for doing a lot of that. A lot of those estates down there, he was doing those. And the walls. He could do any of the walls that you need, all the utilities, permits, stuff like that, right-of-ways, all that stuff.
So that's something that also is imminent. Not only voting for a treasurer on the business side of the group plan, but also I think we should also start appointing community planners.
Isn't Estella an architect, you guys?
Yes, Stella's an architect. And then, like Willow said, all we really need is to have these people come to the call,
Yes.
every week. It's kind of like we're not demanding, but, if you want to participate, you got to be here.
Well, he might not be able to make every Wednesday call because he's at the coast. He's actually over by Mendocino right now.
Oh, I wasn't saying that. Saying that.
Well, they're
You're
working
here.
they're working on emergency stuff over there. And their internet is so sketchy. That's one thing we have to check into. That whole area, you guys, the Wi-Fi is bad. You don't get very good Wi-Fi reception. So we might have to check into a different way, maybe. I don't know, but it's really difficult. So when we're trying to hold business there,
there's ways you can amplify it.
Yes, we'd have to do that. We'd have to find out how to do that. Because
at least on top of a hill or something, or that's where we have to go.
Yeah, sometimes he has to drive. Yeah, he'll have to drive 2 or 3 or 4 miles to go make a phone call.
Whatever, that's cool, man.
Get it. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Have you and your husband looked at that Venus project? Just want to throw it out there real quick.
Yes.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That Falco dude, that guy, that kind of like, in my opinion, if I may interject real quick, if we can kind of get on the same base with that and because I'm building inspector too, it wouldn't take long. It would not take long to get the smart minds that keep the mechanical functions of society running now. Will not take long. As long as we have, and they know that there's something going on or there's money to be made and or a successful way, these are the people we need to grab first. Okay. And so that's where I'm really going to be like kind of going, like just even rejection's great. You know what I mean? But at least you drop something in the hat of somewhere. And this is kind of more like a logo, big time, whether it's TI or the People's Club or whatever, but like get a little flyer, get a business card. We need to get a label. And I know, okay, we don't like labels and we don't want to put anything too concrete, right? And I'm with that. But like, as far as advertising, what's going on in the standard of society and how it works, that business card, that label, we can just drop these droplets off. You know what I mean? I'm talking at the water company, at Edison, and at town halls.
Willow has already done this week, has put together a flyer, and it's excellent. We posted it on the pages, if anyone has seen it.
Well, we can post that up at the boards at the town halls, you know what I mean, and get to and write a letter to your mayor with that going on, and at least put it out, to your locals. Don't go to your fucking, you know what I mean. We have to go to the senators. They don't give a shit. All of them, whatever. But I know that as far as me and like my local mayor and my guy, these guys are still part of the city. Yeah, they may have something going on, this and that, maybe Masons or whatever, but like there are still people and they still want to be successful and there's something successful and there's something that's working and that you put it out there and then maybe they hear it to the background too. well, they're going to come to you first, right? And so, or at least to wherever that location first, we can have local, have a spot where the business card, these flyers where we can put our numbers, right? And it's individuals. And then that, because this is what I think is a huge thing is having, reversing if you guys know what the octopus effect is, if we can reverse that and just use the same tactics, okay? We need fingers in everywhere. We need fingers in utilities. We need fingers in real estate, which I have too. We need fingers in construction, engineering, and education. And if we can literally start our fingers with these flyers. I mean, it's kind of like, in essence, because they're going to get it on the back end to the internet or through whoever their superiors are, possibly anyways too, okay? Or these are the people that are already in function that everyone looks to and that things are working as kind of a standard. So if whoever we can grab on that side of things, I think it would be a great idea, and we need to get a format of a flyer and or business card. I think that'd be great.
Okay,
can I just say something? The trailers that the tiny trailers that are just for the bedrooms, and these are only temporary as we're on the land, because if we purchase the land, there's nothing on it. It's not right that people have to sleep in tents. I mean, it's 45 degrees. The last couple nights, 45 degrees out there, and I've been sleeping in my relative's house. It's cold, and so if they have this bedroom that's theirs, that they could sleep in every night, and then the facility. I just wanted, if I were to get a tiny house for everyone, that would cost $67,000 each. This is for a kitchen and a bathroom and a shower and all that. We're building an eco village. We don't need everyone to have a tiny home. And so this is why I'm going this way, where we'll just put the furniture in there, and once they get their house, they can then put the furniture in their house if they want, and then we could take the trailer to the next place, or we could take it with the furniture. I don't care, but this is just for temporary for the people like these 20-year-olds. If they get on a bus or they drive there, they're going to need a place to stay. We don't in a motel. So if they've got their own little trailer, I mean, this is wonderful. If they get their meals, this is wonderful. And if they work from the heart, this is wonderful, and get paid. This is what my thinking is. If I'm off, please let me know.
No. You're thinking of a hand up, not a handout. People get to share in work that gets to be done around the village. So yes,
it's cooperative.
Absolutely.
It's the very definition of cooperative, okay. Willow.
No more corporate.
I think you've nailed it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just want them to know that our company is going to take good care of them. You work hard for us, we're going to take good care of you. We want to work with you. You want, and you're going to have good meals. You're going to have a place to stay. And then you're going to get home at the end.
Yeah, Thomas said we have to address the 5 basics. So basically that's what's happening.
Exactly.
Right.
You're going to get the people off the street, or people who maybe live with their mom that don't want to do that anymore.
Exactly.
And they can go be productive, and it's cooperative.
Exactly.
Because they still will they'll put their currency, their energy in, and they're going to get energy back. So.
And they're going to learn something.
It's a balanced situation, and that's what we have to make sure that create.
So is it okay that I spend this much money, on good mattresses and natural wood and?
I just got a mattress. Have you heard of a company called Awara? AWARA?
No.
It's all organic. It's all natural, all organic, all of it. There's no outgassing whatsoever.
Okay. I'll look into that.
It's actually better than avocado mattress. So.
What?
Okay.
Yeah. It took me 3 weeks to find it. It was very difficult, but I did, because I wanted a natural mattress with all the natural, and it's tough to needle. So it's quality. It's a quality mattress.
Okay. I'll look into that. And check in. I know the Earthsake is looking into joining the People's Club. So, but they're $2,500 for everything.
Right.
So I'll check into that.
Oh, I wanted to say something. I wanted to ask Bill something. Bill, is he there?
I'm here.
Hey, I have a video for you. It's a hydroponics. I'm working. It's almost edited. I never forgot you. I just had it. And I actually have a hothouse video. So I have 2 videos getting ready to go to Michael, if he can put them, or Miriam, if they can put them on the website.
Yeah,
they're almost
can
ready to go. The hydroponic one is going to be really good, Bill. It addresses a lot of the stuff you were talking about.
Good. Thank you.
And actually have the indoor view of the hydroponic system, the filters, the engines, everything. The fish, I got the tanks, I got everything.
Perfect. Thank you.
Because I'm assuming we're going to have hydroponics there, yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or
Good.
aqua.
This will be good.
Got to.
Aqua. Sorry, that's what it is. Excuse me.
That's okay.
There's a hydroponics portion, but this is aqua.
It's
so not the fish.
aeroponics.
Yeah, it's the ponics where the fish grow the plants, right?
That's right.
And I'll message you on those seeds too. Those.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
That sounds good. So, the hothouse is doing good. Just to give a little update on it. I have a micro sprinkler system in. All the water's in, and I'm going to take more footage to get the update to go with the first one. But all the plants, almost everything turned out. Half the lettuce didn't turn out, and I'm thinking it's because I used a weird soil that I don't use. Actually, it was a soil that came from Mendocino, and I normally don't use it. I think it was a little too acidic. So I lost half my crop that way, but you know what? I can start over. That's something, because with the lettuce, you just successive sow anyway. So, but
Well, tomorrow's the first day of spring. That's a good time to plant.
It
the
is,
vernal equinox.
But it's been raining here for like a week.
Isn't that amazing?
It was almost 80 degrees here. Then it went down to, I think at night it's like 30 something. So I have my hothouse is up. Everything's in the hothouse, and I have a propane heater in there. It's been running nonstop 24/7 because I'm not losing these plants. It was funny. I saw a meme and it said, organic growers, at the end of the season, you save $2.17, right? It's like, because with the weather being so weird, I have to go to all these links just to keep these plants warm. But it is what it is. So, and the project's coming along good. That's the first place I'm going to plant, will be behind me. So, and I'm actually going to get footage, and I asked them if they wanted to be taped, and they said I can. So we'll actually get real people planting real plants. And then that video, we can re-edit that and then get that out for us. So,
well, just send it along, Kimberly, because the last thing you sent, I couldn't load it into MeWe, but Michael J had me dump it into a Google Cloud or something.
Yep.
And then he was able to take it from there.
Oh, you know what? I got my tech guy over here. I don't know if you can see him. This is my son. Can you see him over there? Mike, raise your hand. Can you guys see him?
Hey.
He's my tech guy. Google Cloud, I didn't even think of it. Because we went to Dropbox because it can handle really big files. Because when I'm using, on my iPad, I'm using the iMovie. And it doesn't really compress them down. So we have a whole thing where we have to go through and compress everything and try to get it down.
Yes.
So,
yes.
So
that's what we need.
Google Cloud might be what we do next time. Okay. Then I might have to re-edit some things then, Phyllis. So.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Good.
So
I'm going to say good night, Jim. I don't. Okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
just one last thing. I mentioned it to Willow. She's done a lot of paperwork and whatnot. Keep your files together. Keep your information organized and keep it together. And I don't know exactly when, but every TPC state and country is going to be given a website connected to the main website, the main TPC website. And once we have that for our own group, you'll be able to put all of your information on that website, including the flyer information and things that Jacob was discussing. So our website, New Earth California, that's for us, and we can use that also for other business entities that we set up or whatnot. But for the TPC Village, all of us will be getting a website from the trust.
Okay, I have
From
one
the People's
question.
Trust.
Do I need to submit the cost of what I think the trailer, the furniture, the mattress, and all that? Do you want me to submit what I think one trailer would cost?
I would definitely put it together, put the
Okay.
package together, and then as we submit the entire group proposal, we'll incorporate that into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll work on that this week then.
Yeah, put
Anyone
down
else?
as much as you can on everything. The more you can put down, the better.
Okay.
Yeah. If you have any questions about submitting, contact Bill. I think he's the only one that's actually submitted a proposal.
Okay, so I have one question. When I just talked to at this nursery that I buy gardening the seeds this last week.
Nice.
Can we agree on a minimum wage that they would get paid working on the project? I know that Kim and Thomas always said, you shouldn't pay any less than $20 an hour.
No, sir. 24.
or you can even pay your workers $30 an hour. This is something that these young people are also going to want to know. And so can we agree that we'll pay no less than $20 an hour? Can I say that?
I can't answer that.
Can I interject here? I would like to kind of start off at like a low rate, 17, $20, whatever you guys want to start. I want to we need to start getting people's mind around money different. Okay. So every time they do something good or extra out of the ordinary within their job parameters, they get a raise accordingly. They're late. It's up to you to work it out between them, and maybe you can dock them or something. But like this whole wasting, like if we're going to be working 4 days out of the week versus 5 or 6 to have them make ends meet, it's got to be. Don't even think about hourly. Say they're going to be taken care of. Yeah, throw a number, $20, $25, whatever. We're going to throw it in each one of our proposals. Like I really got an idea. I want to get with you, Bill. Bill, you're. Like, I know I've been saying I'm going to get a hold of you. I'm going to get a hold of you this week. You know what I mean? Like to talk to you more for sure, bud. And you too, Kim. Need to talk to you. But with that being said, it's really about getting people's mind around that they're going to be taken care of, but like we need to transition this whole thing, as far as the aspect of working together. You have other places you can work, but we got to build it, right? So the first things first, we're going to have a little baseline here, I think, as far as getting paid and everyone getting taken care of, but the whole co-op thing, getting that put together, because I've done that before. I'm going to get all that stuff out. And it's really, it's, you want to take this thing and make it a positive and get people going, and don't make it a minimum. You know what I mean? You're going to be tell them that it's more or less.
All I can say is, all I can say is the way Thomas. Sorry, Jacob. All I can say is the way Thomas said it. He didn't put a number out there. All he said was, in the cooperative way, everyone gets the same amount. Yep. The CEO gets the same amount as far as this guy Liam goes. He gets the same amount as the janitor.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess we'll just have to wait and hear from Thomas about the actual number that we will be wanting to pay people.
Okay.
From top down.
Yeah, they'll own part of the business. The sky's the limit.
Right.
Right. What was that site where you got that other call you were saying, Jim? or where do you go for that?
I'll send it to you.
Okay.
It's on the page. It was the Canada Zoom call that Thomas attended, and he pretty much took up the whole call. It goes for a couple hours. So and it's definitely worth listening to because I mean, I caught a lot of what he said, but I'd have to listen to it again myself to just make sure, I'm saying the right thing,
Awesome. Right on.
He put a lot of information out is what I'm saying.
Cool. Yeah, it seems to be getting seems to get a little more interesting nowadays. That's for sure.
So Sean or Pam, go ahead, Jason.
I want to let one more thing know. I have a friend down there that I was visiting down Malibu. He works down Long Beach and works in collaboration. Just to let you guys know, with USC, they've had not funding like that. I think they just let it out since December. USC's had a way of doing this and mass producing just the testing, let alone the cure, for a long time now. This has all been set up. This is something that is not. And this is him speaking from himself. If you guys look at that, also look at that up. I sent to Jim. She legit is Pure Gold, SHILAJIT. This stuff not only will boost your immunity, it's working some interesting miracles with correlation with cancer and tumors and stuff. Definitely. Really suggest everyone is listening, go check that out. Okay. With that being said, too, it's this sickness thing. It's crazy, and it's everyone needs. I hope everyone is okay. And everyone needs to relax and chill out. And I hope everyone's. If, like I said, if you really, really need some, give me a call. See what I can do. If it gets to, I'll send out a little piece of info, like inside, like really gnarly intel. If it gets to like looting and crazy stuff, there's a whole lot of toilet paper and food and stuff. It's like a hotel. Just let you know. Not a whole lot of people think about that one. Just let you know. Forget the restaurants, everything else. You're gonna have everything you need. Just sending it out just in case. Not saying you need it, but some of that fun stuff. But yeah, thank you, Jim.
Thank you. Sean or Pam, do you have anything you want to say tonight?
Well, everything sounds interesting. I would be one that would need a car because mine is 1996 and the instrument panel keeps going out, so I don't see how fast I'm going or how much gas I have. I have to guess. And so I have to hit the thing. That's the only thing that wakes it up. It has been replaced once, and I don't know if it will last until smog check. And if it doesn't work, then I'm not going to have a car.
Okay. What'd you have in mind?
I don't know, something smaller. One of my sons has a Honda Fit, and my sister has one. It's just about the right size for what I would need to do.
Okay, well, you're going to have to put that in your proposal.
Okay.
Sean, you sleeping?
Yeah, just write everything you need. I put those pages up in the groups so people could write on there. Because I'm not going to remember. You got to write it on there.
Okay.
Type it in.
Okay, anyone else, or do you want to call it a night?
I'm good. I got my kids here.
Wait. I was muted. Sorry. Bill, can we download those pages? Because I was clicking on them and I couldn't access it. Anything.
No, I just took a picture.
Okay.
So
okay.
I was hoping people would write it in and then I could add it to my list here,
Gotcha.
and then
Okay.
email it to Phyllis, and then she does her little magic thing.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
I have a friend that does light bulb moment. I'm getting a few on this call. Wow. He can format. He does cabinets. Okay. He's a fellow building inspector of mine too. He's a big old Mexican small guy. But he also writes up my licensing, and he does formatting for a lot of these engineering companies. And you're talking a full-on legal report. And he can play with his formatting. So, Bill, that's another thing, Bill. We need to get it to where I'm almost thinking, okay, here's what I got. 3 simple formats, okay? One for simple proposals for self, self-stimulus. This is nothing over, like, say, $100,000, maybe $200,000 to get yourself going. You got to fill, you have IRS debt. What kind of debt? What are you writing off? And it can possibly go bigger from there, okay? That's number 1. Number 2, proposal. Education, okay, and or healing. Okay, number 3, proposal. We're going farming. Okay, we're going agriculture. We're going farmers market. It's a start. You know what I mean? We can get bigger than that, right? But at least with like the farming and the farmers market, okay, what size acreage? Okay, how much land and how much per acre or how much per property? Then we can go into water right, a few little check boxes. You have water rights. You have this checkbox, right? This is kind of like what I need to do, because we can make these into PDFs where people can just go along the site and just fill in if we have a site, right? Okay, like not something else besides, it has to be something else besides Facebook that you can fill out a PDF, and or we can just give you a link from Facebook, if this is where we're going to keep it for now, to these links, which easy. We can go daddy.com, and then we can start filling out. But I mean, if we got to make out formats for freaking people to fill out proposals, and that's what we're going to freaking do. Okay, that's kind of where I see that, because if we can build those 3 structures, I mean, that's something that I can work on too. As far as getting the basic check boxes and then the basic information filled out. I mean,
Let me talk to Michael.
I'm really worried about this. I mean, give them something to fill out, put in, and give them, a basic stimulus, nothing over, whatever, such and such. Okay, we got that out of the way. That's going to take away like 80%, 90% of the freaking stupid question. I'm going to try to filter out, and I'm not saying people are stupid, but to filter out the basics, right? You know what I mean? You want to, get that kind of kick to the side. Does that make sense to anyone? I don't know. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah. I was going to say, let me get a hold of Michael, who set up the website and manages the website, and see if he can put a category for exactly what you're talking about. What is it? What would you name it? Proposal?
We just say beginning or basic proposals, proposal format, PDF.
Okay, I don't think that's a problem. Let me talk to Michael, and he could probably set that right up, and it would really be nice to have people using that website. It's been up for quite some time. Some of us have. We've uploaded some information on there. Kimberly's put some videos on there.
Which one is this?
newearthcalifornia.org.
Okay. Oh, I'm with that one. I got that. Okay. All right.
So I'll get a hold of Michael.
Articles, that'd be perfect. That'd be perfect.
Articles. Yeah. Under articles? Okay.
Yeah,
I'll get a hold of Michael tomorrow, and I'll get back to you on that. I don't think that'll be a problem.
The proposals. Yeah. Something some basic. Keep it. Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah. We'll get together.
Jacob, did you say that you want to write a proposal? Is this for people in THI California or other people outside?
I'm going to go with whoever that knows about this trust thing that can come through maybe THI and or right. I guess maybe moving to TPC. Whatever website, this New Earth California.
Yeah, and it's not a problem to do
we'll
that.
Keep it there. Keep it right there.
It's not a problem to do that because our website is not attached to THI in any way or TPC. It's
No.
just our own. It's our own
Yep.
private
Yep.
name.
Yep.
We purchased a domain. That's our own private name for exactly what you want to do.
Yep.
I think
Well,
that would
because you know what you were saying. You said you know how you need to get some stuff done. You need to get some IRS stuff paid, this and that and the other. You need to relocate maybe. Could you make a template for like basic needs? Call it
that's
like
what I'm saying.
a basic needs template. And then
Right.
people could just say, I need that. Yep, I need that. Yep, okay, that's going to be that much.
Right. And then, okay, and going into this, which group of thing, and then we got to give like maybe a list. Okay, are you more into agriculture, healing, education? Let's get to them. Or judicial. You know what I mean? You want to couple other categories, kind of make a little checkoff box where you kind of want to fit in. And this is where that proposal, and that's where you're going to, you stimulate, because you got to have like a check and balance with it, right?
Right.
Okay, so if we're going to give you this $200,000, or if we're going to get, you're going to pay yourself out, and then that can be expanded depending on the circumstance, right? We have someone, with these proposals, I'm assuming there's going to be someone going through them, obviously, and approving and disapproving them. So, and if you don't fall through, within 6 months, a year, something else like that, and none of this money's gone somewhere, well, then you cut off. Plain simple. You know what I mean? Or that long you go through, and then you can't do anything, or you're gonna have to resubmit to get in that, to apply in that section if that's what if you're joining this new way of life, you're joining this new circle of life from friends, you gotta kind of focus and put your efforts in where it is. And I think that's maybe another step or two down the line, but, just to throw it out there. Yeah. Because there's going to be a lot of people. I mean, let's face it, that's what is happening here with this economy and everything else. With a lot of people, granted, there's people with money that are doing well. You know what I mean? It seems like we have kind of a decent mix here. And, like I can be up out of it, now knowing and seeing what's going on, I can be up out of this with friends, you know what I mean, fairly well. It's me just being here where this has led me, this is where I'm at, you know what I mean? I'm not saying I'm begging or I need money. I can pull myself out, but that's kind of the clarification, and it would make sense if the money, if the whole, even that, fuck the IRS, it's only in America. Even if the IRS is the issue, and this is where we're starting it, we should be able to have the money, and if whatever we're worried about, lawyer and all that kind of stuff, if we can have the money, just pay that off, be done and clean and clear, then we can join accounts, start building from there, yada yada. It would make sense. I'd make a little bit more efficient, fluent transition for the individual, right? Mm-hmm. So I think having that option and having that ability would be crucial for the masses. And if you start giving that option, you mean all I got to do is fill out basically a job application? I'm going to give fucking $200,000 to pick myself up out of debt, be able to maybe join something that people know what the fuck they're talking about and doing some cool shit, and that actually happens. You know how fast? Yeah, I'm talking months, baby. We're talking a few years to turn this thing around, if that is an option. But we need to know that from top, for whoever it is at the top. And I would think from what I'm getting, that would be an easy way to get in, verified, and see if you're going to follow up with what you say you're going to do and sign up with, right?
Right. It has to be on a cooperative model.
Absolutely.
And the quantum system is set up to where
to know intention,
to know everyone's intention. Yes.
Well, yeah, because we could approve a project, and like Thomas and Kim said, if you go back and check out the ebook, because I've been reading the ebook again, the quantum system has mapped everyone, so everyone's already in the system, and it knows intention. So basically, as I just read it again, it said, as this energy is shifting, so as this light comes in and the frequency is really high, in the DNA, it can unzip the DNA codons because it's hitting more sites on the DNA. So it's rewriting your DNA with the information coming on the light. So it knows your intention. As we shift and morph and shift and morph and shift and morph some more and do more work, it knows you. It literally knows what's going on. And when we'll ultimately be the bank. We will. We're going to be our own bank. When you're
Because
in a position that you can be in energetically, the money's going to flow to you. There will be no stopping it because literally we are the trust.
Right. Okay. Kim, you just verified two for me right there. I love you, girl. I'm going to get a hold of you this week too.
That ebook is amazing.
Yeah.
The ebook is amazing. There's a lot of information that I went the first time I read it, the second time, the third time, I'm like, how did I not see any of this, right? Where I read it, it didn't stick. But because I've shifted, now I can see stuff better. So I'm seeing the stuff that I need to see. And it's really, how's your heart aligned? Are you balanced? Are you staying balanced? Because if you stay balanced, then you come from the heart. That's what happens. And then that energy, the universe recognizes that, and that's all you can get back. Right? If you do kind and you are happy and you do create, that's what you're going to get back. If you expand that to include everybody else, that's just more. So, this group's doing that.
Of the karmic effect, what you think about, if you're conscious, if our conscious affects physical reality on its own level, and we're tying in on a more energetic level, meaning basically we're expanding on an energetic field, you start relating, well, the things and how life reacts to you is a little bit more vivid once you're in tune a little bit more, right? If things work a little bit easy, this is why we are here, right? And freaking, Kim, you just,
it's so funny. I know you guys want to go. I had a dream, just really quick. I had a dream 4 nights ago, and in the dream, I was driving, and I wanted to make a right-hand turn, and I went, oh no, I closed my eyes, physically closed my eyes. And the second I physically closed my eyes, the whole scene popped back up in extremely vivid detail. I went, wait a minute, my eyes are closed. How am I going to make the turn? And I could hear me say, no, you have 20/20 vision now. You have real vision. Turn. And I made the turn. And when I opened my eyes up, I was down going I was going up the road. And I went, that's what they mean by 20/20 vision. Close your eyes. It's all inside you. You still can see it. It's all there. These aren't the good eyes, right? That's not the seeing part. And so I kept in my dream, I was making all these turns going, am I going to make that turn? And I did it. And then pretty soon I was like, oh, that's literally what that is. That's the 20/20 vision inside you. When you're in balance, then you can see with your heart. You can see it. You're not in the dark. Actually, you're not in the dark anymore at all. You're truly seeing. You're truly seeing. So, and I think there's no way to stop us from getting to that point anymore. We're literally there, and we're going to head there. And as the old system collapses, what we implement from the heart is going to be what's just going to be in place for everybody else. So,
I've got
guys.
That 100 monkey effect times 10 by now. It's going to be hitting the curve real quick. It's really like we're kind of here. Like, think of it like I've got some really cool like realizations lately too. And it like taking a walk, like you're saying, take a walk down the street, and when you think you got to turn right at a spot or the bush is there, or so you're walking and like test yourself, do it just walking. You know what I mean? Have fun with it, and you start building a relationship. This is what I mean, and like saying yes or no or left or right. Find your numbers. You know what I mean, and like see if it works. And then when it starts working, you say thank you. Right? And it builds from there, like huge, like, and it's like that's just one of my experiences too, and one of the ways I practice too, along with meditation and just sitting. You know what I mean? Grounding's huge. Get your grounding blankets. That is a big thing. Dawn, everyone mentions Cameron, you too. Like, look at that grounding video that I put up. I don't know if you guys saw it, but it's the guy that did the study, Robert. Beautifully well done video, and it's part of it. It's not even that it's like healing, but like there's a communication with Mother. Like I swear, Mother Earth, like, it's happening, and like the change of the guard. Like I have a friend that's really on the Q movement and all that kind of stuff. And it's changing the guard because like, oh, it's like kind of the red pill versus the blue pill thing. But like, no matter what, it's happening now, and if it's going from the dark ages, that's why they sacrificed Jesus on the sword's cross, right? Symbol of the sword, the sacrifice, him and the sign of chivalry. And then after that, the dark ages came and all that. And I'm a religious guy in the aspect that all religions kind of say the same thing. There's a lot of alike material on that. I have a friend who's done a lot of work on that can prove that, actually. With that being said, this is light. You know what I mean? We're in the golden age now. We got to make it go. We got to make it happen. And I think the goal is within us. The real goals and the DNA, the real values is within us and the people. And that's it. You know what I mean? We work in harmony with the land. I think things are going to work a lot more faster on the other really cooler side of things, you know? So, yeah. Just want to leave you all that. This was my closing statement. Kim, getting a hold of you. Jimmy, you too.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
See you, Bill.
Good night.